We have a big chop in the chair today. It's been 6 months since my client Diego has been able to come into the chair. So we're gonna get him right. He showed me a picture of a nice little burst fade that we were able to do for him a little while ago. So it's definitely, still keeping the Fringe style. This bulk is gonna be coming down so we can appreciate a nice burst fade on him. I'm gonna walk you guys through the steps that I like to follow to be able to make this transformation. So of course, first thing is if you're gonna cut the hair saturated, make sure that it is all the way saturated. We need to make sure that this hair gets all the way down, equally saturated. And then of course, using a wide tooth comb is also the easiest way just to comb through the hair. Whenever it comes through unruly, just overgrown, definitely this is the best way to be able to get the hair laid down in the proper direction. Of course, I definitely like working with a slightly more fine tooth comb when I'm cutting, but just for the sake of being able to lay the hair down, this is what we need right here, a nice wide tooth comb. Now, I found the crown because you can see nothing is fighting, nothing is springing the other way. So what we're gonna do now, let's go ahead and comb this hair all forward. And I gotta find at what point of the recession does he have a natural split. And you can already see there, that hair is starting to naturally come down this way. So let's go ahead and define this front part also with the same wide tooth comb. And I'm gonna connect it here to this crown. And this is the first section that I like to use when deconstructing the haircut. And we're gonna do the same thing on this side. I wanna find where his natural split point at this recession is. And this one seems to be right there, right on the corner. Right there on the corner. So we can go ahead and do the same thing. So when you're splitting the hair up, if you can work with the natural growth patterns, the process is gonna be much easier for you. The haircut is just gonna come together. And yes, it is true, this is an uneven parting, but I'm gonna show you guys why we have to do it like that and why it really doesn't matter if the initial partings and splits are slightly uneven or they don't look perfect, they don't look aesthetic. It doesn't matter. Like, we are gonna cut this hair according to the natural growth pattern. And I'll show you how it comes together. So we need to make sure that he has enough hair in the front to be able to create a fringe. So that's why I'm gonna have the hair slightly elevated up here towards the front when I make my first cut. But remember, this burst fade is gonna be all in this area. So what I'm gonna do is now make sure I keep that front part elevated, but then my fingers are gonna be trimmed really tight to the head. So that way I could clear this bulk and have enough space to be able to work in a nice little burst fade. My fingers are still tight to the scalp, so you guys can already start to see the shape of that burst fade starting to come in there. So same thing here, I'm gonna make one more cut right there, nice and tight to the scalp. And now we're gonna go ahead and pull it around the other side, and we're gonna do the same thing all over again. Now remember, we need space for that fringe, right? So we're gonna lift this hair, elevate it, pull it forward so we can have space for that fringe. And as we get closer to the ear, now we are gonna press this tighter again to the scalp. Fingers tight against the scalp because this whole area is gonna be cleared out for a burst fade. Clear your head all the way down. You can definitely go in here, and if really needed to, you could go in here and debulk a good bit with the clippers, but I feel like this is gonna give you a slightly more organized plan. You have a specific look in mind, so I don't see the harm in going in here and just taking a little bit extra time to make sure that this haircut comes out exactly how you want it. So you can start to see now, some of that bulk is already cleared here in the shape of the burst fade. So what we're gonna do before we jump into that, now we have to start taking care of this length here and this length on top. So what would be the best way to approach that? Come back to saturate the hair, right? We're gonna have to keep this hair fully saturated as we trim it. You can see some areas we're already starting to air dry. So we are coming back to a state of full saturation, and now we gotta find out where his hair in the front naturally splits. So if I pick this hair straight up and I release the tension, you can see this hair is growing this way, and this hair on this side starts to come this way. So that's how I find his natural split in the front, right? And I wanna connect that now to his natural split all the way back here. Now I'm gonna let that lay this way, and I'm gonna let this lay this way. Cool. Put your head all the way down here. All right, so as far as this top goes, now this can be a little bit more intricate because of the burst fade aspect of this, right? So we're gonna trim this down this way. Remember, we left some space up front for the fringe, right? You can see some hairs there. So I'm gonna keep it right there. I'm gonna keep this fringe area trimmed right there at that level, going straight forward. So you can see that's gonna give him enough space for the fringe. And continue to match. Again, you could see here all those hairs that we were previously cutting. So I'm good with that. The foundation matches. Now let's go ahead and move it over to the other side. and repeat the same process. So now that foundation is set. All right, so now if we're gonna go ahead and remember, we split in this according to the growth pattern. So now what we're gonna do, if we elevate the hair from both sides, we take a section from the left and we take a section from the right, and we pick it straight up, we'll see short points on the side and cut straight across. And this is the part right here where just because the initial part didn't look super even, that doesn't mean that it's not gonna come out right or that it's not gonna come out even in a way, right? This is the step right here that kind of ties it all together. And we're gonna take this all the way to the back, then brush that back into place. How's it going, man? I'm just gonna make sure also at this point too that I don't leave a little too much length in the very front. Still wanted to have like textured fringe look. Turn this way a little bit. Cool. All right, so guys, basically now, like, I know that it's definitely not the easiest looking haircut to do yet. Simple steps to follow, just stay with me. This whole front area now is done. How do we take care of the back? The easiest way for me now, again, resaturate the hair, right? If you're gonna cut the hair, commit to cutting it fully saturated. If you're gonna cut fully dry, but I wouldn't recommend that. I'm always gonna recommend full saturation. All right, now, bring this hair all down here. We're gonna first create the border at the bottom. Where do I want his fringe to end? Now, it's actually gonna be pretty tight because he's gonna have a V'd up in the back. So let me go ahead and start pretty tight here at the bottom. I'm gonna get it a nice tight trim here. And of course, especially when you're working in this area closer to the ear, be careful with it. Don't want to move too fast and then injure a client's ear or anything like that. Definitely don't want to do that. It's just not worth it, right? All right, trim it nice and tight here. Now look, I've got my base length here, right? So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and concentrate on pulling one of these middle sections out. And if I could elevate this now, you'll see the short point at the very bottom, right? And if I cut it straight down at a 90-degree angle, that's gonna be the easiest way for me to go ahead and give this haircut the proper layering that it needs. And then just keep on doing that process all the way throughout the back. Start working here on the left section, then the right section. Man, with the gang. It's picture day weekend, so we're gonna have a bunch of kids in here today. Back to school happened at the beginning of August, dude. So now it's picture day. All right, put your head down just a little bit. So y'all can see the layering definitely came together here in the back, and just for the sake of polishing it up, now you can do a little bit of scissor over comb while you're working your way up, just to make sure that no long hairs were left over. And guys, we're already getting now to the fun part, right? The majority of the scissor work is done, all the technical work is done, just polishing up the layering, and now we're gonna be able to jump in with the Stylecraft Saber 2 clipper. Yeah, that clipper has the echo blade, so it's definitely gonna be a tool that can help you not only cut with your eyes, but also with your ears. You'll be able to hear every single hair being cut, and I'm gonna show you what that experience is like right now. All right, y'all, so let's go ahead and come in here with this number 4 guard. Now we can go ahead and see the base that we already established, right? So if we can run right up, you can hear all those hairs being cut here with this number 4 guard and the Saber 2 clipper. So this clipper comes out at the end of October, so make sure that you put your pre-orders in using the discount code that's up in the corner of the screen. Clear out this bulk here with this number 4 guard. Maintain the shape that we established at the beginning while we're setting that foundation in. And then just give this side a listen here with the clipper while you watch me debulk it. Now that the hair has been debulked, we can go ahead and start setting off the first baseline for this burst fade. And I always like, if I'm gonna do a bald fade, a fade with a bald finish at the bottom, I always love to go ahead and start off with the clipper all the way close. The reason why we do this is because if I were to punch it in with a trimmer, it's gonna be such a sharp line. And that can be a good thing if you're considering like wanna have neat guidelines and whatnot, but that's not exactly the case. It's not gonna be beneficial for you to have such a harsh guideline. You're gonna give yourself more work to do at the end of the fade if you punch it in with a trimmer. So do your best to go in here with the clipper all the way close. And now we can go ahead and set our first fading panel now. We're gonna set our first fading panel with the half guard with the lever all the way closed. Some of you may be more comfortable doing it with the no guard with the lever wide open. They're basically almost the same length, but I do it with the half guard closed because similar for the same reason why I don't put the bald line in with the trimmer. It's gonna give me a softer line that's easier to fade out with. And you'll see it all come together at the very end here. So that panel is already cleared out, but now let's go ahead and just take a small moment of our time and let's go ahead and fade this area out. Now, everything underneath the half guard closed, you're just gonna be playing with the no guard, right? You may wanna start with the lever open and then little by little work your way down. Just make sure that you take your time and fade out this little area here, because the goal is we're gonna want this fade to be finished by the time that we start from up here and work our way back down. So now we've already debulked with the number 4 and we faded out that half panel. So what we're gonna do now with this 1.5 guard with the lever wide open, now we're gonna go ahead and give ourselves some space here. If we use a straight up and down motion here, this 1.5 guard should blend very easily going up into that 4. Now, if you're not comfortable with this, it's no problem. Go ahead, pull out your 3 guard, your 2 guard. You can do that. This is a nice goal for you to set though. Learn how to skip guards and take that 1.5 and work it right into the darkness of the number 4. So look, this 1.5 open is already done. Now we can take that 1.5 guard closed. And now I'm not focused on elevating it so much. What I am focused on is being able to stay right here on that line of demarcation. So let's go ahead and continue to work on this. One and a half guard is done. Now, what is the next level down from the 1.5? Just a plain old 1, right? If you want to start with it all the way open, you can, and then work your way all the way down. What I'm going to be doing for this demonstration's sake is just using the 1 guard with the lever halfway. So it's not open, it's not closed, it's floating right there in the middle. We've already done the 1.5, we've already done the 1. What's going to be the next lowest level? It's going to be the half. And now remember, we started the fade off. The first panel that we did was half. So if I'm coming down here and I'm fading down, I start with this half guard all the way open, and then I go halfway, and then I return back to all the way closed. What should happen at that point? At that point, technically, we shouldn't need to do any more work on the fade, right? We would just have to ball out at the very bottom, because now it's gonna match perfectly to that first guideline that we set. So let's go ahead and watch this process come together, and we'll see if the theory proves true. Fair enough, guys. Look at that, man. The blend came together super buttery, super blurry, right? And the only thing that I should be doing now at this point is getting rid of that bulk at the very bottom. But before we do that, let me go ahead and take it to the other side so you guys can watch this fading process come together one more time. And now that you've already seen the fading process happen one time, see if in your mind you can kind of come together and what steps I'm gonna do, because I'm gonna follow the same system for this, just like I do with all my other haircuts. So just for a hint, I'm gonna start off with the 1.5 guard open. Let's watch the rest of it come together. Are you gonna tell me?
I was just gonna tell you, bro, I'm already feeling like light like a feather.
That's funny, bro. Yeah, it literally is.
I'm feeling like in a minute, dude.
It literally is, bro.
Super satisfying.
Yeah, you would think that you'd extra on point.
No, we don't.
Yeah, unless if they want him as silent partner, but I don't think they do that. It's not a funding problem, it's a character problem. Yeah.
As in Nets?
Right.
Ram.
But he also was playing pool and watching, so that's a whole other thing. Huh? Yeah.
Other person is just about other person, and every level you go.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Which one? Yeah. Oh, that he have no idea about that? I didn't either. I thought they were playing with.
Yeah, I was supposed to come.
But he said it yesterday when he got a haircut. Oh, because I was asking him about the Harbor Island shop that's going, and he said that they're gonna pretty much dissolve the OP45 and just let it be Tomb 45. And look, guys, here you guys can see here. Yeah. But you're not doing anything, act harm it. Have a good one, man. Thanks for coming. Now guys, look, this step here is why we started here with the clipper all the way closed with no guard, because look, I go up here with the trimmer, it blends right in. It blends. Would have started with then I would have been giving myself a lot more work here to do. I'd have to go with the trimmer this way, that way, shaver, back up the clipper. No, for the sake of efficiency and a well thought out plan, That's why I like to start off with the clipper all the way closed. Go in and punch in this V-line right here, guys. Look, what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna reduce a little bit of the weight right here along that shape that I'm gonna be doing, right? I'm gonna go ahead and take my clipper comb, reduce some of this bulk, just so that way it's gonna feed easier into my trimmer line. Remember, I'm not trying to start a whole nother fade here. I'm just lightening up the area so that way we can get it a nice sharp V. But the product is in the hair. I'm just gonna be doing a little bit of styling here with the blow dryer just so we can get it looking good. But I'm gonna show you guys now a couple videos, a couple pictures of the finished product. Liking, subscribing. If you guys wanna see the videos before they're released to the public, you know, since I schedule these at time, definitely join that level 1 membership. Maybe we can do some members only live streams or something like that in the future. But if you like the tools that we use today too, definitely go ahead and use that discount code. Get that pre-order in so you can be one of the first people on Instagram with that Saber 2 clipper.
Be on the lookout for the video.
Yeah, this one should probably come out not Tuesday, but the following Tuesday.
Okay.
I got one scheduled for coming up. Actually, sir. Yes, sir. I love it, man. I love it. Yeah, bro.
I've been meaning for a minute, bro.
I know, man.
So bad.
We missed you, bro.
Yeah.